The overview in Tier Portal isn't really given much attention or love because it can be a bit clunky. It takes a long time to load under certain circumstances, but it can be very useful. So this is the sort of hybrid between being in project view and portal view. So we can see right now that we are in our project tree area with nothing selected. We are here at the top of Tier Portal Draft Project. So we're looking at our project. And in our overview, which you can't close, it's always there. You can minimize it though, but you can't actually get rid of it. In our overview here, we can see everything that the project tree can see. So devices and networks, which frustratingly, what Siemens do is remove it from the project tree when you are in this view, which can be somewhat confusing. I'm not quite sure why they do that. For example, if I minimize this now, you'll see that devices and networks now appears in the project tree. But when I open the overview again, it disappears. And I guess what they're trying to do is give you the option of having a small and manageable project tree with everything that you need to see on the overview. But it just becomes a little bit confusing sometimes, and it's one of the reasons why I don't use the overview. But I thought I would demonstrate it anyway because I'm sure some people will find a benefit for it. So the first thing to note is that on the tab up here, it defaults to thumbnails, which I believe you can change in the settings, but there are different views for list and details. Details is a very useful thing later on when you're looking at blocks, so programming blocks in a PLC, but we'll come on to that. I'll give you an example of that in a second. From here, you can do things like add a new device, which obviously we can do from the project tree. You can enter your PLC devices, HMI devices if you have HMIs, and also things like security settings and everything that we've just seen in the project tree. If I come into PLC1, you can see that it gives me everything that's in PLC1 along here as well. There's nothing new in here or special. If I come into project blocks, you can see that it gives me my organization blocks, function blocks, and data blocks. But in our project tree lesson, I said that these are loose objects. You can see now that they are loose objects, that they don't reside in any groups. They are at the topmost level of our program blocks. And you can also see that they don't appear in the project tree anymore. All that appears in the project tree is our structure. From here, you can go and open the main object. You can go and open a group. So if we opened this group here, we get our function blocks and data blocks. And this is a nice view from that point of view of sort of organizing your blocks by type, but that is the only way that you can organize them in this view. If we switch to details though, we get a little bit more information about all of our objects that are in our current scope, so in the time delay start control. And here we can see what times that they were modified, and we can organize by last modified. We can organize by their assigned address. We can see how they were given that address, whether it was automatic or whether it was manual. We can have a look at whether the object is optimized. Optimization of data is something that we cover later, but it's useful to know that you can come in here and turn it on and off. It's the quickest way to come in and turn it on and off. And you can also do things like turn on or off data block accessibility from things like a HMI or OPC by ticking these blocks here. You also have some information about timestamps. So the last time it was compiled, and some information around load memory, work memory, priority if it's an OB, and how much memory reserve each of these objects have. And there's also some options here about downloading and what you want to do during the download, which we will come on to again later. It's worth knowing that this is here. It's really the reason why I'm showing you, because sometimes you do need to be able to look at things like memory, which objects are taking up the most memory, why they're taking up the most memory, and being able to come in and quickly access and see that information. You have the same options that you would have if they're in this tree here in the project tree. If you weren't in the overview where you can right click, you have the same contextual menu and things like that. It's just a different way of showing it. If again, I go and open an object such as this ladder block, the project tree will revert to its normal view. The frustrating thing about switching between these views is once you have a lot of objects in your project, the project tree can respond sluggishly. It can take a long time to switch between the programming window that we're in right now and back to the overview, especially if you have animations turned on, which I advise everybody to turn off in the settings. But with animations turned on, it can make things even worse. But yeah, the overview is something that I can see people getting benefit out of under certain circumstances, but it isn't the way that I would imagine people will really use the tier portal environment. I think you'd still use the project tree, but it's nice to know that it's there.